Omicron.
Well, cricket is where we pick things up. COVID-19 continues to wreak havoc on cricket events as the emergence of the Omicron variant forced the International Cricket Council to abandon the 2021 Women's Cricket World Cup qualifiers in Zimbabwe. This meant West Indies, along with Bangladesh and Pakistan, received byes by virtue of their ranking to compete at the 50 Overs World Cup in New Zealand next year. While happy to qualify for the global tournament, the West Indies women are now in Oman after they were trapped in Zimbabwe before because countries banned flights from the region because of the Omicron variant. The Chief Executive Officer of Cricket West Indies, Johnny Grave, joins us now to discuss the situation facing the ladies. Welcome. Happy to have you on the show.
Good evening, Maria.
All right. So based on your information, can you just give us an update? Because, you know, a lot of people around the world, they're concerned about the Windies women and they don't have access to have that sort of information. So our information tells us that they're in Oman right now. Can you add to that?
Yeah, look, it's been a disappointing few days, really. I mean, we were all looking forward on Saturday morning to the team taking part in their second fixture against Sri Lanka, having won the opening game and done well in Pakistan in the build-up. And then that match was postponed due to 6 cases of COVID within the Sri Lanka team that happened earlier that week, as well as one of the support staff testing positive that morning. They were isolated incidents within the whole tournament, just affected the Sri Lanka team. But it was shortly after then, in the next morning, that the ICC decided to abandon the tournament based on the new travel advisories that have come out throughout the world against the Southern African countries. That was obviously disappointing with the teams looking to qualify. Obviously, as you say, that meant that we qualified by way of the rankings, and the ICC took the ultimate precaution, ensuring that everyone could get home and stay safe. So the team left immediately to Windhoek in Namibia, and they overnighted there. Then they made their way on Monday when they landed in Oman. They've been in the airport hotel there since Monday, and they're just waiting on the paperwork to come through from the Oman authorities that will allow them to transition from the airport hotel to the Sheraton, which was one of the 5-star hotels that we used recently in the T20 World Cup. I think that was clearly our first priority, along with the ICC, was to get them and also Cricket Ireland, the Netherlands team and Thailand out of Africa. They've now done that, and they're now safe and relatively comfortable in the airport hotel, and hopefully even more comfortable when they can get to the Sheraton, hopefully tomorrow. It's still a bit uncertain exactly when they'll get back. The worst case scenario is that they would complete 14 days in Oman, when they'll then be deemed not to be coming and travelling from those African countries that are currently having travel restricted. And then they'll make their way back to the region, probably landing around the 14th of December, which is about 5 days later than they would have arrived back if the tournament had gone to its completion. So clearly there's lots of anxiety and stress within the team. It's been a very difficult period for them. But hopefully now they're out of Africa in Oman. Things are starting to settle down. Hopefully, as I said, their paperwork will come through tomorrow that will allow them to officially enter Oman, and then we'll work very closely with the ICC to ensure that they can get home as quickly as possible.
So I do know that there are a couple of countries where our players are from that have Zimbabwe on their banned list. So I think, you know, there may be a bit more work that would have to be done where the government and those protocols are concerned. Is it that you all are working closely? For Trinidad, for example, I know that Zimbabwe is on the banned list. Is it that you would have to do extra work to ensure that the players that are coming from there get back into their country? And I'm thinking about in time for Christmas, because Christmas is a time the players would definitely want to be with their family, and they would have planned these things out before.
Yeah, as I said, you know, at the moment, the worst case scenario is they'll do 14 days in Oman, and that will see them come back around the 14th of December. So only 5 days later than they would have originally come back. So that's the absolute worst case. So I think they'll be back at least 10 days before Christmas, which, as you acknowledge, they've had a very busy year playing cricket away from home in difficult situations, in biosecure bubbles. So it's really important for both our men's and women's team to be able to be back in the region with their friends and family over the festive period. So I don't think there's any risk of that at this stage, and we're very confident that we'll be able to bring them back as I said, worst case scenario on the 14th of December, but hopefully with news next week over many of the travel advisories go up to the 5th of December. So we're hoping for positive changes and for there to be a route back. And clearly we've been working with all the ministries of health and national security agencies across the region to get players out and in throughout the pandemic. So again, as soon as we know what route they'll be able to fly back, we'll be working very closely with all the governments of the region to see how quickly we can get them home.
Johnny, a little bit on the playing side now. We know that we were all disappointed with the showing of the Windies women in England after the pandemic, when the men went there and, of course, then the women went there. The women didn't look good at all. Cricket West Indies made some changes, among them Courtney Walsh coming in as head coach. And since that time, a lot of work has gone in. We saw some outstanding performances against Pakistan, and the start of the qualifiers was also very, very strong. Would you say that the corner is being turned, where the upturn in the fortunes of the women are concerned?
Well, we certainly hope so. I mean, I think we have to accept that there has become, not just for West Indies, but for many teams now, a bit of a gulf between the big three, Australia, England and India, in terms of their performances. But certainly in the T20 format, we'd like to think we could compete with anyone on our day. The performances, as you say, prior to Courtney's recruitment as head coach had been very disappointing. And Courtney and his support staff, as well as the players themselves, have put in a lot of work. They started the year here in Antigua in January and have been pretty much playing non-stop cricket throughout the year, which has been good for them and great for the new management team. And we were delighted when we were able to pull off that A-team tour, the first ever West Indies women's A-team tour this summer against Pakistan, so we can start to look to the future and identify new players that may be able to make the step up to the full international team. So it's all part of a wider plan, and we're really hoping and looking forward to the fact that we can have what we hope will be a really robust under-19 girls tournament early part of next year, hopefully around April time, which will lead into the women's regional tournament coming back on stream following the pandemic. And then Barbados will go to the Commonwealth Games as our representative, and we can really look ahead to what we hope will be identifying new players and getting some competition for places to drive hopefully better performances.
All right, Johnny, well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and, just clearing the air for the families of those Windies women who are very concerned about them.
Absolutely. We're doing everything we can to get them home as quickly and as safely as possible.
All right, thank you so much, CEO of Cricket West Indies there, Johnny Grave. While we take a quick commercial break, George, we'll be right back.